Hello, trendy travelers, and welcome to Trending Travel, where we reveal prime travel destinations for adventurers, explorers, and romantics. Step into our world and indulge yourself in inspiration and imagination. Soak up the possibilities because today we are showing you the weirdest places you can only find in Florida. Be sure to watch all the way to the end to our number one, or else I'll find where you live and stuff an alligator in your suitcase. Number 10. Spooky Hill, Lake Wales. Where else would you find a hill where gravity seems to act all wonky, if not Florida? Located in North Wales between Burns Avenue and Spooky Hill Elementary in Florida is Spooky Hill. Spooky Hill is a gravity hill, an optical illusion where cars appear to roll up the Spooky Hill in Lake Wales, Florida. This hill is just about as cool things get. You park your car at the bottom of the hill, put it in neutral, and voila, you're rolling up the hill. Of course, the logical explanation says it's the layout of the surrounding land that produces the optical illusion, making a slight downhill slope appear to be an uphill slope. That's way less cooler than the claims of supernatural forces being behind it. Number 9. Casadaga Ferry Trail. The ferry trail in Casadaga, part of the Casadaga Spiritualist Camp, is brimming with colorful fairy wings, gnomes, flowers, and fairy dust. Anyone can hike this trail and step into an enchanted world of fairies. The moment you start on the trail, it feels like you've been snatched right out of reality into another dimension. The ferry trail is made up of paths that run through Horseshoe Park in Casadaga. The ferry trail is considered a vortex, or a point of concentrated psychic energy created by the spiritualist activities that take place on the trail. The trail is open to visitors all year round, every day from sunup to sundown, but once it's nighttime, no one is allowed in as the fairies are said to be hard at work. While visiting, hikers get to see delicate fairy houses, a rainbow of hanging leis, and fairy wings throughout this unique trail. Visitors can sit in the fairy chair, a huge throne painted with wings. It's absolutely magical, and while the hiking might be tiring, children fare well on short trips on the fairy trail. After all, kids do love whimsy and wonder. Number 8. Cape Romano Dome Homes. On what used to be an island called 10,000 Island, just south of Marco Island, there is an ultra-modern dome house that has seemingly been reclaimed by the sea, leaving only the upper domes of the structure to sight. A number of legends have sprung up in a bid to explain the origins of the crumbling cluster of domes at the tip of Cape Romano. Everything from a secret cult to aliens have been credited with creating the space-age buildings, but the truth is that the now empty concrete domes were built in 1981 by an oil producer named Bob Lee, whose initial conception was to create an eccentric vacation home that was meant to be a self-sufficient, eco-friendly relaxation spot for his family. Unfortunately, the landscape on the edge of the island started to change. Simple erosion finally made the homes unlivable. The firm beach on which the domes once stood proudly began to be overtaken by the sea and its continuously rising level until the domes were surrounded on all sides by water. Number 7. Monkey Island of HOMOSASSA. What has now become a popularly loved attraction spot called Monkey Island surprisingly was once a little more like a monkey detention center. Interestingly, the island itself wasn't always an island. It started out as an easily missed rock outcropping that took out the bottom of boats on a fairly regular basis. A developer named G.A. Ferguson finally had workers throw some dirt on the rock pile to keep boaters from bottoming out. The crew ended up messing up the plan, and at the end of it all, they ended up with an island. Still optimistic, the developer put a lighthouse and a few trees onto the new island before returning to the new wildlife attraction, now Homosassa Wildlife State Park, he was building a little way up the stream. The attraction was established to include all sorts of exotic plants and wild animals, including a small group of monkeys brought into the country by a polio researcher. When the researcher was done examining them for their initial purpose, the monkeys were to retire to the wildlife park as attractions. Now, the monkeys from all those years ago are now on the island and can be visited by anyone. Number 6. World Erotic Art Museum, Miami Beach. Also referred to as WEAM, the World Erotic Art Museum is truly one of a kind. The words erotic and museum are not words that are usually used in the same sentence, but leave it to Miami to create something completely unique with the opportunity. Founded in 2005 and located in the heart of the Miami Beach, Florida Art Deco District, the World Erotic Art Museum is a museum, library, and education think tank that uses its collection to illustrate the history of erotic art. It contains the collection of Naomi Wilzig. At this Miami Beach erotica fortress, you'll find anything and everything sex-related, from a bed carved with the Kama Sutra to dildos in every shape and size to dominatrix Barbie dolls. You will find numerous drawings, paintings, photographs, and statues carved in the most interesting positions, with rooms and rooms of action-packed art from antiquity to today. It's a cornucopia of coitus and a must-not-be-missed Miami experience. Number 5. Underwater Music Festival, Florida Keys. Located at a depth of 20 feet below the water surface, the rippled sand of the ocean floor off the coast of the Florida Keys might be an unlikely and unexpected spot to host a music festival, or any festivals really, if we're being honest. But that hasn't stopped music enthusiasts from diving underwater to rock and roll. For the past 3 decades, nearly 4, this stretch of paradise in the Florida Keys, about 6 miles south of Big Pine Key, one of the islands that make up the archipelago, has hosted the Underwater Music Festival, an event that pairs music with conservation. Equipped with guitars, horns, drums, and other musical instruments, divers descend into the depths and play along to a playlist of water-inspired songs. Think Yellow Submarine and the theme song from Gilligan's Island. The songs are then piped underwater via speakers. To make things even more interesting, local radio station US 1 Radio 104.1 FM broadcasts the show live for non-divers to enjoy. This began with the idea that once people see what's going on beneath the surface, they would get more awareness about protecting it. Number 4. Historic HAILE Homestead, Gainesville, Florida. In Gainesville, Florida, there's a house you have to see. The HAILE Homestead was home to a South Carolina family in the 1800s. This 1,500-acre homestead was a Sea Island cotton plantation that was the site of house parties attended by Gainesville's finest citizens. Also known as HAILE Plantation House or Kanapaha, the HAILE Homestead is unique in the nation for its talking walls. For a reason that no one seems to remember or even know at all, the HAILE family and their friends who came to visit them wrote over 12,500 words on the walls, dating back to the 1850s. From people's names to random words, the age-old words, their origin, and their meanings still baffle people. In the late 1980s, the HAILE family partnered with the Alachua Conservation Trust to restore the house for visiting purposes. The museum is open for tours on weekends. Number 3. Everglades Alligator Farm. If you are headed to Florida, chances are that you want to see one of the state's most famous animals, the alligator. Everglades Alligator Farm in South Florida is sure to have the best experience for observing and marveling at these wonderful creatures and how they live. Here you get to see live alligator shows as well as alligator feeding demonstrations organized for visiting parties. Live alligators are handled by experts, while the experts educate their guests about the fascinating creatures. If you are lucky enough to show up during feeding time, you'll learn and witness the way that alligators eat their prey. These animals at Everglades are thought to be one of the most brutal, as feeding frenzies almost always threaten unintended danger. The last thing you would want is to accidentally somehow become the object of their munching. Number 2. Neptune Memorial Reef, Miami, Florida. Still thinking of cemeteries on land? How 1900s of you! Not far from Miami, Florida, 3 miles off the coast of Key Biscayne, the Neptune Memorial Reef is an artificial reef for cremated remains. It is a type of burial at sea, and the first phase is estimated to be able to accommodate 850 remains, with an eventual goal of more than 125,000 remains. Cremated remains are mixed with cement to form features of the reef, and memorial plaques are added. The reef is more correctly identified as a cremation memorial site. The city design involves underwater roads leading to a central feature with benches and statuary. It is absolutely incredible. Number 1. Underwater Hotel, Key Largo. Located in the lagoon at Key Largo Undersea Park, Jules Underwater Hotel is the world's only underwater hotel where scuba diving is the only way to get to your room. Aptly named after Jules Verne, you can find a different way to scan the serenity of underwater life while staying warm and dry. To get away from the constant hustle and bustle of the city life above, you have to put on a scuba suit just to get to your room. It's the perfect escape. Once in your lovely abode, you'll notice it's a bit more like sleeping in a rusting submarine from the 1970s than a full-service hotel, but for the adventurous people, that sort of eerie isolation away from all outside noise could be just what the doctor ordered. Once inside, the cozy rooms are perfect for couples, and you can even order in a chef who will scuba down to cook for you. A stay here will cost from $675 a night. Make sure to share your thoughts with us in the content section below, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to this channel, or again, you'll find tons of creepy crawly bugs in your suitcase. Stay trendy, travelers, and we'll see you next time.